Well, Sierra Leone is still struggling to contain the spread of Ebola, the virus killing hundreds of people over the last 5 months. Pete Muller is a photographer who's working in that country and joins Newsnight on the line. Pete, good evening. Nice to talk to you. Your work is currently documenting how people are living with Ebola, from hotel staff swabbing their hands to attending the funeral of an Ebola victim. Just share some of these stories with us, please.
Yeah, I've spent close to the last week in the Kailahun district of Sierra Leone, which has been the most heavily affected district in this country. I've had a couple of opportunities to work with Red Cross workers who are visiting often very remote villages to conduct safe burials for people they suspect may have died of Ebola. This is a focus for some of these organizations because traditional burials, are real breeding grounds for the spread of the disease. So safe burials have become a very high priority in terms of trying to stem the epidemic.
Well, how would you describe a safe burial?
So what happens is workers who have been trained by the Federation of the Red Cross come into places where community members have alerted them that someone has died under circumstances that are unclear. They come in, they put on personal protective equipment, those types of suits that you see in some of the photographs. They spray chlorine, they swab the body, they cordon it off, they put it in a secured body bag, and they remove it in a way that minimizes the risk of spreading the disease, as opposed to conventional burials in Sierra Leone, where often family members and friends gather around the body, they touch the body, they kiss the body. So they're really aiming to try to stop that type of behavior, at least during the epidemic.
Pete, there are also reports of families of Ebola victims being ostracized. It's certainly the sense we're getting is that fear lives very strongly amongst the people of Sierra Leone. Would you say that's accurate?
I think so, and certainly that's also become an emphasis of some of these organizations to try to work to break some of the stigma associated with Ebola, which is, as you mentioned, strong, particularly in rural areas. People are very, very afraid of this disease, and particularly when people have been confirmed to have had it and then have been, in some rare cases, survivors discharged, brought back to their communities. There's an awful lot to be done in terms of trying to break the stigma around people who are fortunate to survive this disease.
Yeah, Pete, we've heard in the last couple of days, countries like Guinea, Liberia, Sierra Leone, all considered, ground zero in many ways for the spread of this virus, closing their borders. We received a report a little earlier on of instructions given to Liberian army personnel to shoot on sight anyone coming across the border from Sierra Leone over fears of this disease spreading. Have you heard anything in that regard?
I have not heard things similar to that, at least where I am in Kailahun district. What I've seen here over this last week is, it's an all hands on deck, very intensive effort, but it is very organized. And certainly in the experiences I've had, community members are very much cooperating with the organizations that are here. They're cooperating with the government. So certainly we're not seeing anything that looks particularly volatile. It's just a very, very intense situation.
Pete, for yourself as a journalist, working in these conditions where, we've all heard and we've told the stories of how contagious Ebola is. We've reported extensively on it. You're right there, again, in what is considered to be ground zero. What special precautions are you taking?
Well, I'm being incredibly vigilant with regards to coming into any direct physical contact with anyone. And that's not just me. Certainly, all of the aid workers and the civilian population at large here. There's been a lot of messaging to the communities. Don't touch one another. You see chlorine hand washing stations throughout. I'm washing meticulously and repeatedly with chlorine whenever I've been through any situation where I may have exposed myself. Avoiding contact, trying to limit the exposure that I have to situations that are risky, particularly health facilities and in these burial grounds.
You deserve to know more.
eNCA.com